could I have gone from the king of rock and roll to this, old guy in a rest home?
You were an Elvis impersonator. You fell off a stage and broke your hip? When was it? 20 years ago.
That's where they took a piece of my brain. I got a little bag of sand up there now.
Jack.
Yeah, sorry I don't have like the best effects right now. I know that some of you might be used to better video quality, but this was the best I could do. This is a response to Bubba Wallace. Bubba, what'd you do? Well, let me just shut the window so I can go back to rated R language here without the neighbors hearing. Bubba, what the fuck? He door pull as a noose. Interesting. So I know we haven't done a video in a while. I just thought I think, people are going to take this in many ways. I think if you can't laugh at this story, 2020 has killed your sense of humor. And fuck you then. This guy NASCAR basically shot itself in the balls in order to bend over backwards and oppose racism. NASCAR, the sport that basically sells ad space to literally every corporation in America, and they think that if they don't, basically say, oh, we don't like, country bumpkins from, the hills of North Carolina who go to our races, we're going to basically sell out to people who don't care about NASCAR, namely the media, in order to appease them. Yeah, that's what NASCAR did over the past couple weeks, even before this fake Noose controversy. And they are getting their just desserts. I hope they will. I hope that if you are a NASCAR fan, you write basically, and you fulfill it, that you will never watch another race again. You should, if you are a NASCAR fan, a racing fan, you should take whatever crap Dodge Neon that you have and paint it with all sorts of shit and race it around the fucking, the sandlot wherever you live, and do like an alternative NASCAR. People should start like an alternative NASCAR and basically say F you to NASCAR, because they sold out so quick over this bullshit, this BLM garbage, right? You guys can tell I need a haircut. A rope found in the garage stall of black driver Bubba Wallace. By the way, I had nothing against, when he got into NASCAR, I was like, okay, so finally people are going to tune into NASCAR who aren't from the traditional fan base of NASCAR. And, lo and behold, the same people who liked NASCAR before it still liked NASCAR, and yet they didn't gain any fans. It's almost as if when you highlight things for diversity's sake, I'm sure that he's a great driver, and I can tell you that I would never be able to endure a whole race like Bubba Wallace or Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt or any of the other drivers. I'd probably, tap out halfway and get really sleepy. So there's no disrespect to them on their skill set. Just like I think LeBron is an idiot, but obviously an amazing basketball player. And you should always respect people within their field, even if you don't like them for other things that they do. But this is ridiculous. Northern District of Alabama U.S. Attorney Jay Town on Monday announced his office had launched an investigation along with the FBI and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. Town said they were looking to see whether there are violations of federal law. No federal crime was committed, his office said. Town and FBI special agent in charge, Johnny Sharp Jr. How's that for an FBI agent name? Johnny Sharp Jr. on Tuesday released a statement about the probe. On Monday, 15 FBI special agents conducted numerous interviews regarding the situation at Talladega Superspeedway. After a thorough review of the facts and evidence surrounding this event, we have concluded that no federal crime was committed. The FBI learned the garage number 4, where the noose was found, was assigned to Bubba Wallace last week. The investigation also revealed evidence, including authentic video confirmed by NASCAR, that they're still calling it a noose. It's not a noose. It's just like a looped knot in the rope or something. Hold on, let me silence this. So there's like, I hope that there's a photo of it here. There's, you guys are gonna laugh. I'm sure that some of you have already seen this. I know I have a couple viewers in who are from, the southeastern part of the country. Here's the image, in case you were wondering. So we have to zoom in to see this microscopic rope. Okay, so this isn't even Bubba Wallace's car. Bubba Wallace's car is like, it's blue and something, and now it's black. But yeah, this was the rope over here. This is what they're calling a noose. So yeah, it was all bullshit. FBI agents went to the track Monday to interview anybody who was in the infield Sunday. We are angry and outraged and cannot state strongly enough how seriously we take this heinous act, the series said in a statement. As we have stated unequivocally, there is no place for racism in NASCAR, and there isn't because it didn't happen. And this act only strengthens our resolve to make the sport open and welcoming to all. Well, apparently you're not going to be welcoming any of your traditional fans anymore, because I want to make something clear. I don't really care. I don't have any Confederate flags. I've never really, the Confederate flag, to be honest with you, I know some people think it looks cool. I just was never into it, but I don't really care. Like, to each his own. I'm not from the South. I'm from Ohio. There's nothing to tie me to the Confederacy. I don't really care. I didn't go through the Civil War, so I wasn't on either side. Obviously, if I was around during that time, I would have probably been drafted for the Union. So, that's just for your information, because I've never lived in any other state. So I would say that this is a fake controversy where they banned the flag and everything. Like, who cares? People are going to come to your stupid race and they're going to wave their flags. And by the way, so what would you say if somebody who is like, they have like a Confederate flag license plate, but they're like, hey, yeah, we're going to buy some Bubba Wallace t-shirts. So are you going to not sell t-shirts to a bunch of like dudes with Confederate flags? And there's also black guys who wear Confederate flags, which I also never really, followed the whole mystique behind that. And it's fine. People like different things. It doesn't have to make sense. This is a taste issue. It's not a morality issue. Just like a lot of things in our society have nothing to do with ethics or morality. They have to do with taste. Wallace is the only full-time black driver in NASCAR's Elite Cup Series. By the way, it used to be the Winston Cup until they started basically, pretending that NASCAR is against tobacco, even though, let's be honest, I think most of the people who go to NASCAR races probably smoke like 5 packs a day, and, or they choose Skoal or something. I don't really think, I think that this is the most hypocritical sport suddenly in America, NASCAR. That they basically spit in the face of their fan base. Not that I care, because, again, I haven't followed NASCAR probably since I was maybe 11 years old. And even then, I wouldn't say that I was exactly a connoisseur. But it's disgusting when a sport basically takes a huge piss on the foreheads of people who built it up and sustained it in order to kowtow to corporate America and pretend that they're not racist. NASCAR is a sport where basically if you have a way to market yourself and also to win races and connect with your fans, that's it. There's no political like angle to it. It's the least political sport that you can get normally. He said, as my mother told me today, they were just trying to scare you, he wrote. This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue to probably stand for what I believe in. Earlier Monday, Governor Kay Ivey called the incident at Talladega Super Speedway was a vile act and disgusting display of hatred. So you have Republican governors and other officials saying, yeah, this is awful. This whole thing, which didn't happen, this is awful. I am shocked and appalled to hear of yesterday's vile act against Bubba Wallace. In Talladega, there is no place for this disgusting display of hatred in our state, Ivy said. Racism and threats of this nature will not be condoned nor tolerated, and I commit to assisting in any way possible to ensure that the person responsible for this is caught and punished. So I guess they're going to punish Bubba Wallace. While the important conversation of racial reconciliation is ongoing all over our country, it is clear there is much work to do. There is no conversation of racial reconciliation going on in the country. This is so Kay Ivey is lying. The GOP governor, the first female governor of, I think, Alabama, she should be the third female governor, which, by the way, people forget that, like, Alabama has had, like, I think George Wallace's wife was governor for like a couple years before she died. This is a state, Alabama, that very little happens there, and most people who think that Alabama is a racist cesspool probably have never met anyone from there. I am sure that if you go to Alabama, people don't care about anything. They're basically, just kind of poor people or something. It's apparently has like a very bad education system, and also people are kind of unhealthy there because of bad health habits, which that's really the problem with America is not really race, it's health and poverty across the racial spectrum. So I think people need to put down their their monocles and stop judging entire parts of the country because they feel better than them. Yeah, I really believe that. And I can tell you that a lot of people where I live in Ohio probably look down in Alabama too, because most of the people in our state have a full mouth of teeth and everything. But yeah, we have parts of Ohio that are probably just as, if not worse than Alabama in terms of poverty, in terms of bad education, in terms of crime, in terms of drug addiction, in terms of literacy. I think I already mentioned that. There's a part of every state that is a rundown hellhole. Okay, I actually was driving around earlier today with a friend, and we were in a pretty rundown part of the city. And I would say, and this was the city, it would probably not surprise people in Alabama. They drive up here, they'd probably be like, yeah, this seems like a shitty part of our state too, because every state has a place like that. Talladega Mayor Timothy Ragland on Monday also condemned the display. I am disgusted by the cowardly act of hatred towards Bubba Wallace, which didn't happen. NASCAR's only full-time black driver, Ragland said in a statement. I urge NASCAR to use every resource at its disposal to find the culprit of this vicious and racist act. I offer every resource available under my authority to assist in finding the persons responsible for this blight on the city of Talladega. Because of rain, the Sunday race was postponed until Monday. Prior to the start of the race, the drivers came together and pushed Bubba Wallace and his car forward. Wallace finished 14th, a career best at Talladega. So yeah, I think that this is the first thing. First things first. Bubba Wallace, I think the reason that this happened is because he's had like a decent career as a NASCAR driver, but it's not as if Bubba Wallace is like the big name in NASCAR. For a while I remember Tony Stewart was doing well. It's just because I would see it on the news. I don't even watch the races. Tony Stewart was doing well for a while. I think Kyle Busch was doing okay. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was doing pretty good for a while. Jeff Gordon, back when I was a kid, I don't think Jeff Gordon's been very big for a while. There's never been a Bubba Wallace era, and I think he was just looking for a little bit of a promotion boost, and this was a good way to do it. And this is basically him making much ado about nothing. And our country is lesser because of it. Our country basically looks like a laughingstock to the world now because of people like Bubba Wallace, who make very mundane issues into national tragedies. So that's about it. I didn't want this to be too long. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can also find me on all of these other platforms, especially Library. See? Library. Over at the bottom, you can even repost my videos, and I'd be glad if you did. Also on Gab, Subscribe Star if you want to donate a little money. Minds.com, BitChute, and YouTube.